A botched burglary is caught on surveillance video in Kansas City. A man smashes the door of a paintball shop but couldn't find the latch to get it open. So he goes into a truck and uses it to crash through the armored windows to get inside. The shop's owner is hoping someone will recognize the man in the video and turn him in. The damage of the paintball shop will cost tens of thousands of dollars. As for the many overweight middle-aged weekend warriors named Roy that it's disenfranchised, well, the numbers are almost too great to bear. That's a sad story. Hey, we're back with Congressman Ron Paul, running for president. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good, good, good. I want to talk to you briefly about this Grand Ayatollah Mariam Shirazi. It's a Shia cleric. He actually had some words about the VT shooting, in which he blamed it on a materialistic world, and that if it happened in Iran, we would actually blame it on their lack of freedoms. What I find interesting is that he's almost echoing what the shooter said.
Yeah.
Do you think?
He's admiring your eyes.
I sort of missed the point on that.
What he's saying is he's blaming the shooting on our capitalist society.
You know, well, that's their same old rhetoric. Obviously, it's not the case. I think that a maniac is a maniac. Somebody who's insane can't be explained because he happens to live in a country that's a lot freer than his country. So hardly is that an explanation.
But don't you see like an underlying kind of hatred towards America? And anybody who hates America, it's always about envy.
Yeah, but I don't think that individual speaks for the Iranians. There's been Iranians that have made overtures to some of us in the Congress, and I think there's a large number of people in Iran that like Americans, and there's good evidence for this. But I think when we are tough on Iran and attack them or put on sanctions, what we do is for patriotism on their part, they unify behind their leader because they don't like to be attacked or challenged by outsiders. So we do exactly the opposite of what we should do to encourage the dissent in Iran, and I think there's some very serious dissent. And I've met some Iranians, and they're very, very attuned to liking Americans. They want to. But the leaders are the ones you cannot say that every Iranian believes like these loudmouth leaders from Iran.
But this Ayatollah alluded to, he tried to suggest that it was God's will that this shooting happened. Well, why doesn't he try preaching that little stand-up act over in Iraq in front of the troops and see what God's will really is?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good suggestion.
All right, I want to move. I want to talk about your campaign because that's why you're here. Why? You say basically you're the only Republican running for president. Why do you say that?
Well, that's not exactly the case. I'm the only true conservative Republican, traditional Republican that believes strongly in the Constitution and believe in the platform of the Republican Party. You know, I don't vote for entitlements, and yet the Republican Party has become the party of entitlements. I believe in personal liberty, and we preach personal liberty all the time, and yet we passed a lot of bills that intruded on everybody's personal liberty. And the traditional Republican position has always been anti-war. If you look at the 20th century, the Republican Party picked up the pieces more often than you realize. You know, after each war, it was Republicans that came in after Democrats started the war. Particularly since World War II, we've never declared a war. After Korea and after Vietnam, Republican parties were ushered in.
Don't you have a hard time? I mean, isn't it almost as saying that you're simply just out of space when you're declaring to be a classical Republican at a time when the Republic has, by all accounts, been dead for at least 30 years, and we're in full-on declining empire mode?
Well, that is probably the challenge of my campaign. I hope they aren't. But I'm getting a good reception. And, you know, a lot of people are independent now. There's not much left of the Republican base. They're all leaving. So if people get interested in this traditional position that the Republicans used to hold, yes, this would encourage them to vote Republican.
Okay, Congressman. We got to move on. I want to thank you for coming on, and best of luck in your campaign. I'll vote for you, damn it. All right,
good.
We come back. We're going to check out.
Registered.
I know I'm not registered. Just come back. We've got lots of stories. Stick around.